Welcome and hello and welcome and hello, guys. I'm rushing this one out. I'm just setting up StreamYard to try to do this broadcast, so bear with me, guys. It's un poco mas. This is a little bit more. You get to see some of this quick and dirty behind-the-scenes action. I'm trying to set up this studio here, share my screen, get all this crap set up for you. Just rushed in. Busy day, guys. Hope everybody's doing great. It is un poco mas, the show where we give you just a little bit more. What's going on? It is the great Tabasco Rojas. Of course, the great Princess J has joined us in the live studio audience, live and direct on the internet. Thank you, sweetheart, for all your love and support. You're the very best. You are the very best. Of course, Clap My Dog is also pretty good, but it's no Princess J. Anyway, guys, I want to talk SOFI. I am going to make this one quick. I know I always say that, but I have a lot of work to do today. I'm just gonna cut to the chase, guys. This narrative that institutions are selling the top and this thing's topped out at 30 is complete, utter bullshit. And I have the proof. I brought the receipts. I'm not gonna waste any time, guys. JP Morgan Chase, okay, filed on 11/26. JP Morgan Chase, these same guys that have beat down this stock with their $8 targets, lower to 7, raise to 9, play a bunch of pocket pool, basically teabag Noto at the conference and then give some tepid hit piece on the stock with the rating. But anyway, JP Morgan raised their stake in SOFI last quarter by 900%. to 47 million shares. Their average cost is $23. Okay? You see the scam? You see the scam? They beat the stocks down and they buy the hell out of them. Look at the other recent filings. I don't know who this turd is. Alworth Financial LP. They raised their stake by 400%. Swiss Life Asset Management. They raised their share count by 1,100%. Cantor Fitzgerald just sold out of their put. They sold out of their bearish position because they know what's coming. Goldman starts buying like crazy. JP Morgan, they're not a trading house. They're not known to trade. They are loading the boat. This stock is going up past 30. It's going to all-time highs. These guys are just basically battling calls. They're shadow boxing their own testicles in a dark room, full of stalactites or stalagmites, whatever kind is painful when you sit on it. Know what I mean? What else am I talking about? I have no idea, but follow the smartest of the smart money. Follow the smartest of the smart money. Look at what they're doing. JP Morgan Chase is now is this right? Are they the leading shareholder in SOFI? Can this be right? Am I seeing that correctly? No. Doesn't Jane Street? No, they have 30 million. Yeah, JP Morgan has 47 million shares worth $1.2 billion, folks. I mean, come on. And then Vanguard is now second. Susquehanna, 26 million calls. I mean, do you guys not see where this is going? Did you see where, institutional ownership was on Robinhood when that stock made that meteoric run? Is it because their multiples are so great? Yeah. And their execution and, performance has been outstanding. I'm not trying to take anything away from, that little Pirates of the Caribbean looking Vlad and his merry men over there dancing around, having a little Pirates of the Caribbean party. Dancing on my nuts as a SOFI investor, just really living it up, rubbing my nose in it, big leaguing me. But anyway, their institutional ownership was like 85%. Look at Palantir. It's the same thing. Like, how are they getting these insane multiples? Because, they got AI living in their sphincter. They got an actual guy whose initials are AI. They personally know Allen Iverson. I mean, no, it's that these institutions run the world. They own all the shares. They run it up. And then what happens? They sell the top. Look at these really powerful guys who are, dumping their Palantir shares and other shares. And I guarantee you they were dumping Hood at the top too, because that's what they do. They sell the top. If 30 was the top for SoFi, why are all these guys buying as fast as they can last quarter? At similar levels. I mean, yes, the stock was lower at the beginning of last quarter, but when it got hot was later. Really hit the run. And then it leveled off here. It's just like Kramer said, it's resting and then it's going to go up again. Much like Nautilurker's hairline. It rests and then it moves up. Oh, super micro wang reversal finally. Could be. Could be Jimmy the Sausage King. What's going on? Great Flint Creek Soap Company. Flint Creek Soap Company. Google that shit. Buy you some soap. You smell bad. Nobody's going to tell you. You should smell fruity and soapy. Women will love it. The woman in your life thinks you're a big smelly ape. Go to Flint Creek Soap Company. Do yourself a favor. No, seriously. Flint Creek Soap Company. Good stuff. They're not a sponsor. They're a friend. There's a person. I say it's not a nameless, faceless corporation, but I only know you as Flint Creek Soap Company. That's how my brain works, or doesn't work, as the case may be. Look at Bank of America. I mean, actually, okay, they decreased their share count by 32%. Their average cost was $11, so can't blame them for taking some profits. I can't blame anybody for taking profits. Royal Bank of Canada increase 100%. Susquehanna increased 272%. I mean, there were some idiots selling, but that's like Morgan Fudley. Couldn't find their crank in their shorts. They had a microscope and a pair of tweezers. You had Chucky Schwab over here, selling a few shares. Wells Fargo selling a few shares. These aren't traders. They don't know what the hell they're doing. Barclays, same thing. Amateur hour. Absolute amateur hour. FMR LLC, they always make money. They're always in the mix. They always make money. Increase their share count 755%. Guys, follow the smart money. That's all you have to do. That's all you have to do. Oh, yeah, when you run a small business, that becomes your identity, doesn't it? I personally don't think they're going to get S&P 500 inclusion. I think it's really a long shot. They've just qualified. I mean, they just kind of met the qualifications a few quarters ago. It could take a year or two once you meet those qualifications. So I think SoFi will get S&P 500 inclusion maybe middle or late next year. I don't think this year. I don't think the stock should sell off on that basis. I mean, they should be rewarded the fact that they're qualified for S&P 500. I think they should get in ahead of a firm. I think they should definitely get in ahead of Toast. Toast isn't even qualified. They don't even have the market cap. They don't have the regulations. Promise me you'll never zip tie in Costa Rica. Quote the great Chip Douglas. Anyway, I don't know what else to say about this stock. I've said everything I can say. The execution, it's doing its little teeter-totter thing again today. This just wild sell-off in the morning, pump back up, consolidate here at the same exact level it was consolidating at pre-market. Pretty wild, machinations. Pump back up to 29.70, now back to 29.33. So this is completely artificial price action. A lot of other stocks, but you see, it's indicative, this sawtooth pattern. It's not that the stock sells out. It's these extreme, artificial highs and lows and these endless hammer candles. For instance, here where the stock just falls, on low volume for no reason. People always ask, well, how do they fix the price? They put all the sells in the same second, and it just overwhelms the order book. So if institutions were going to sell a bunch of shares on this particular day, lo and behold, they sell a ton right at that particular second. And it's somehow coordinated, and the stock somehow drops, 15 cents in that 1 minute. It just, it is what it is, guys. It's mechanics, and if you have money and you have shares, you can move the price however you want. But the bottom line is you either have to keep dumping or you have to keep shorting here under 30. And if you see the writing on the wall and you pull your finger out of your wazoo and stick it in the air, you can feel which way the wind is blowing. And the wind is telling me that, to paraphrase Jeremy Irons, the music, I can hear the music, and the music is telling me SoFi is going to become a huge company. They're going to become a huge Fintech. They're going to become a top 10 financial institution. Noto is not a guy who just sets goals willy-nilly and says stuff. He's a guy who gives you real, concrete goals, and the man executes. His team executes. I don't think there's a better management team anywhere. I got to be honest with you. And I like the fact that they're humble. And I like the fact that they're traditional. I like the fact that they, under promise and over deliver. These earnings calls with Carp and Vlad just absolutely make me sick. It's like, whatever happened to a certain amount of humility, respect for your shareholder? You're up there like a rock star. You're not Steve Jobs. You're not Steve Jobs. Get out of the turtleneck. It's enough. You and your fancy shoes and your crazy hair and your soul patch. I've had enough. I've had it up to here. Give me Anthony Noto. Give me a responsible adult. Give me an industry veteran. Give me an all-American football player. Give me an engineer, head of his class, United States Military Academy. My biological father, Anthony Noto. I'm pounding on the table, guys. I mean, NAFAFEPO. You see my hat. It says buy SOFI, NAFAFEPO, which stands for not financial advice for entertainment purposes only. Carl Seamark. Roy put a price target up to 60 end of year. I'm with him. I think this stock really can hit 50 next year very, very easily. And if it can hit 50, it can hit 60, because once you get into these types of runs, you're not running on multiples. You're running on sentiment. You're running on emotion. You're running on FOMO. You're running on rocket fuel. You're running on Red Bull and methamphetamine purchased at a truck stop. It's going to make that run down from Buffalo to Miami, no sleep, and shoot back over to Louisiana, up to Michigan, over to Washington State, back down to San Diego, all with no shut-eye. Know what I mean? Know what I mean? A little hot shot trucking. I make a little side money as a hot shot trucker. Dudes with like just a diesel pickup that tow semi-loads illegally. Hey, this truck's rated to tow, 22,000 pounds, and you're towing 150,000 pounds. You're towing 75,000 pounds, sir. Yeah, I know, I'm a hotshot trucker. What type of qualifications or licensure is involved in that? Well, you basically buy a truck. You got to chew tobacco. Not a shower. There's some show about that where they storage. It's not storage wars, but it's like trucking wars. And you got a bunch of these degenerates. They sit around on like U-ship and they, film them all competing for the same load. Like these guys talk about a pant load. Well, that's not that far. I know where that is. I'll bid 3,200. Like, I can do that a little bit cheaper, 3,100. Some guys with a ponytail thinks he knows everything. It's like, because he can crate something for shipment, he thinks he's some kind of fucking genius. Reality television's absolutely ridiculous. Follow me around with a camera. That'll be entertaining. Not really. A sport of tea, governor. Just a sport of tea. Yeah, I mean, those guys are pretty realistic people. This stock can double in a year. Sure, easy. It just 4x'd in what? Way less than a year. That's what happens. Market makers take it where they want to take it. They buy all the shares. They don't want you to own the shares when they take it to 60. They want to get retail ownership down to about 10% from probably, still 25, 30% that it is. They don't like us to make money. They like us to lose money and put it in their pocket. Meta is really making a nice move today. Zuckerberg said they're going to cut down some of the metaverse spend, get back to business of making money on advertising, which is really their core competency. So I think that's really good news for Meta shareholders, which I have a Meta position, not a huge position, but definitely, got some skin in the game. Got a few shares, I like to hold some shares. Not a huge fan of the company, but don't use the product. But, bottom line, they're a free cash flow machine, and they got to get back to what they do best. Google down, Iowa holding, 10X holding, Home Depot holding, let's see, Prop holding, SMCI up a whisker. Neo trying to fight its way back up to $5, battling, just absolutely battling. SoFi volume today, kind of on the moderate side, 30 million, nothing, lighting the world on fire. What I wanted to mention with this chart is like it's regaining this line, which I think is, pretty important. Started this move basically from 11. Actually, started the move from 870 way down here. I think this was just when it sort of washes people out. You hit these extreme lows. I really don't take that too much into account with the charting. These extreme. I think you could kind of chop off some of these tails in your mind and just say, okay, SOFI did go back in the eights, but I don't really think of it as I think of it as where did it sort of really make a market. Here is more like the 10 level, but whatever the case may be, this is where I drew my line. And, you can draw your line wherever you want, but this line is actually pretty good in terms of, support once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, breaks down, regains, breaks down again and regains. The line has been obviously consolidating, right around this line. You can see it's going to break above the line and it's going to move to the upside. It's basically this exact same level, it was sitting at, back here in sort of the middle of September. So the stock has been consolidating now for 2.5 months, whatever that is at these levels. And that's plenty of time to sort itself out. You have basically a game of musical chairs where some of the traders are getting out, some of the swing traders are getting out, shorts are getting out of the way. Some of the weak paper hands are taking profits, getting out of the way, while the rest of us kind of, salivate silently for the move to 100 or 60 or whatever's coming. You don't know what's coming, but it's not all waiting on you. That's vanity. I do not want to go out and face something I do not understand. Oh, let's see. Let's take a look at some of you guys' comments. We know those will be exciting. Again, there was no real point to this video other than just to pump the stock. I think 30 obviously is a big psychological resistance point just because it's a big round number, but that's really all that it is. 40 is another big round number, 50 is another number, and it's going to break down those numbers too. But the price fixing tiny wang mafia is just pearl clutching their tiny bulls, and they just don't want to give up 30. They don't want calls to print, that's for sure. I mean, just yesterday they drove the stock. I mean, even today, they drove the stock down to like 28.48 or something, I think, right at open. So, the price fixers, then you see this big, witch's hat pump and dump. Halloween's gone, guys. You should have drawn Santa Claus or something. And this stock is just making extreme moves. Look at the slope of these lines, how they're moving. I know other stocks, there's probably similar volatility, on the NASDAQ, but it's not to the extremes. Yes, it's up and down in this sawtooth pattern, but SOFI is just taking it to like an absurdity, a level of absurdity. In each of these moves, there's like so many moves up and down. And they're so extreme, in just very, very short periods of time. To me, it's indicative of mechanics at work, just battling day traders, options, their boss down the hall, their ex-wife, their kids in private school. They're just desperate to create an opportunity, create an opening, but they end up slamming their wang in the door, that old program. Wang meets solid core door. Let's see. That pump happened right after I got the lower margin rate notification in the app. Huh. Interesting. That's interesting, Chris. I haven't been on my app or bought anything today. Will it sell off if they don't? I mean, Katie, it probably will, because obviously bears are going to use any reason to hit this and create a narrative in the media. But I don't think it's going to be too extreme. I mean, probably go down 7-8% in the morning and then recover and be down like 3%. It just depends on the day. I mean, mechanics and sort of fiction writers, novelists, the narrative people who create these anti-SOFI narratives that, whenever they want the stock to go down or stop going up, you start to hear these things. Now it's like I've read some of the nonsense. I didn't want to, give it any oxygen. But anyway, guys, let's see. That's what they want. If it does so often, yeah, Chris, you see what's happening. I'm showing you the institutional ownership here, guys. I'm showing you what they're doing, and they're telling you what they're doing. I mean, here it is. Look at this. Institutional ownership is pushing up towards 700 million shares. I mean, it was just 300 million shares back in the middle of 2023. It was under 400 million shares, or 400 million middle of 2024. Under 500 million shares a year ago. So just in the last year, they bought up almost another 200 million shares. Look at the trend. It's unmistakable. Look at this graph. It can't be faked. These are SEC filings. This graph is the truth. All the bearish garbage you hear are made up lies. Look at the filings. Look at what they do, not what they say. If JP Morgan comes out another call, anti-SOFI call, it's because they want to buy more SOFI. It's all a fugazi. The whole thing is a fugazi. All these articles, all these websites, it's all psychological warfare on retail. You don't have a friend. You need a fat friend in your corner. So I don't have a fat friend. You do now, buddy. You do now. You even got a fit friend, Chris from P90X. Guy's so vascular. It's incredibly vascular. That's my workout voice. Man, you're vascular. We bought crypto. My SoFi. Yeah, it just went live. I just saw that notification, actually, I think last night. Last time I opened SoFi, crypto is now. I haven't done anything with crypto yet. I'm just doing crypto through ETFs. A lot easier for me. Because I do want exposure. I definitely want to expose myself to crypto. Let's see. Did you say big, huge sphincter? I may have young 0311. Pump happened. Yeah, we said that would sell off. We already saw some of that. Scott, any thoughts on ABTC? What is that? Alcohol, tobacco, and firearms? No, not really. I just have a BB gun. Once shot myself in the buttock. But, I don't know. User HR6JW9WJ9G, $6.35 for 5,300 shares. Man, oh man. You are sitting on a nice profit of 23 bucks a share. Woo, that's some sweet action. Nice six-figure profit. I love to see that. Good for you, man. Don't forget about leverage. Got whacked on the big. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things. There's still a lot of retail ownership of the stock, which means they're subject to things that institutions aren't. Institutions, they don't get margin called for the most part. I mean, it does happen on smaller hedge funds on short positions and stuff. Crypto positions and whatever, but these huge institutions, JP Morgan, Vanguard, they're not getting, they're not running out of cash, getting their, crypto positions liquidated. So they have to, involuntarily liquidate their SoFi shares in their Robinhood account or whatever. Ugh. By crypto at margin, man, you're just asking for trouble. You saw this dip. I mean, you think it can't get worse? It can get worse. Watch what happens if the economy shit really hits the fan. I think crypto is going to get hit real hard. Gold will do well, but people like Bitcoin is gold. No, it isn't. It's not. It's even oil and gold. That sort of, those ratios don't even hold anymore. Bitcoin is not gold. It isn't. I'm not saying it doesn't have value. I'm not saying, you shouldn't own it. I own it. But I'm just saying it does not have anything like the stability of an asset like a gold or like another precious metal. It just doesn't. Anyway. Oh, yeah, we were fighting for 10, and we didn't really fight that hard for 20, but yeah, certainly fought 10 for years, like fought 5. But going in P, when the heck is SoFi going in N P? Oh, S&P. People are hoping tomorrow. I think it's going to be middle to late next year, but people are hoping it's going to get the nod tomorrow, and it's certainly qualified. If it gets S&P inclusion, look for 40. Look for 40 within a week. It's going to make a huge move because you won't be able to touch it. SoFi is inevitable. Of any company that is relatively small, SoFi is, to me, the surest thing to become a giant company. They just keep growing. They're like, a snowball going downhill, forming an avalanche. That's the type of inevitable, downhill gravity, momentum, name recognition, membership growth, deposit growth, product growth. You're going to see the cross-selling accelerate. Everything is going in the right direction for this company. Yes, we'd like to see more tech accounts and all that stuff, but people things change in a company. You don't, okay, we're going to do this with Galileo. We're going to make a certain amount of money. And then maybe something changes and Galileo just plays another role in the company. Maybe it's not a profit center in the same sense you thought it was, but the company is ultimately tremendously profitable with Galileo playing the role that they play and generating what they generate. I'm like, it's not a problem. It's not a problem. Galileo is not a problem. Give the company time. I'm telling you. There was a lot of uncertainty out there the last couple of years. Probably a lot of stalling with some of this big CapEx, some of these big, transformations, conversions, etc. You're talking about a major commitment to change over your entire system. And there's competition for Galileo. But Galileo's, with Amazon Web Services, now they're selling things in smaller bits. That can go a lot quicker. That has a lot more application, a lot more market than, small and, big companies and medium companies that are willing to change over their sort of whole operating system, their whole backbone, their whole, what runs their company. They'd rather run their company on Amazon and use modules from Galileo, which is great. We're still going to get revenue. You know what I mean? Buy all my tires from Shanice Kobolowski. Let's shout out to Payush, the Big John Candy. Uncle Buck, your Uncle Buck. Yep. When Tanner and Tevis are both saying 60, you better listen because those guys are both Canadian. They're both young. Let's see. Tevis's mustache is epic. Guy looks like Zorro. Looks like a young version of former Mexican President Vicente Fox. Sort of a Tom Selleck, a young Tom Selleck vibe. Do I have a man crush on Tevis since he grew that mustache? Perhaps. Oh, don't make me get out the Tevis 3000 2.0. I'll get it out.
I'm at capacity.
I am at capacity.
Let's circle back to that.
Let's circle back to that indeed.
We're gaining traction.
We are gaining traction. I love just consulting Tevis when I need sort of a pick-me-up. You guys, if you want to buy the Tevis 3000 2.0 to sort of up your corporate speak game, perhaps you can lead a team one day too. No, you're never going to lead a team. You're not Tevis. I'm not even Tevis. I could never be Tevis. I'm not young, not wealthy. I can't sustain that many girlfriends on that many continents, that many countries. Trying to sustain 4 girlfriends in Latin America, 6 in Europe. Very costly. Very costly, no matter your stamina. Takes a toll. Takes a toll. Anyway. Yeah, I have no idea what I'm talking about. Just riffing on Tevis. But no, Tevis made some really good videos lately. Great SOFI. Tevis is really, vying, for that top spot in the U-Turder rankings. I got to do a giant show where I do the U-Turder rankings. I do the SOFI Rock Opera. Just go full SOFI. Just really lay it out there. Really make a giant fool of myself. Anyway, what else is new? Am I right? Cuba. Q1 for tech platform. Indeed. What's up, Scott? Czechoslovakia. That's a good move from Rounders, and they're playing the guy's checking his bet. Czechoslovakia. I like that. He's playing the judges game. How did you know that? Well, Canadians, right? Yeah, they're all going for the 70s porn look, which is, that's in right now in Canada. Highest short volume ratio yesterday in a while on SOFI, over 50%. Was it that high? Let's see. Short interest. Oh no, I looked that up on Fintech. I'm sorry. It's much easier. Short volume. Yeah, there you go. You're right. I mean, I knew you were right, but I just want to pull it up for everybody. I don't know if you guys can see that, but 50, then the day before was 37, 40, 40, 39, 40, 37, 32, 32, 33. So they're digging their heels in. It's basically been 20s and low 30s, and then a couple days at 40, then 37. So 50 is a big departure from what we've been seeing. Good catch there. Thank you to the great Deuce Kabuski. Chris P90X, love Tevis, but love your show more. Gotta love those down days, laughter. Yeah, I mean, it's a different thing. You know, they're giving you a lot more hard news. I'm sort of more the, the late night comedy guy. So yeah, it's, I think there's room for, plenty of views and styles in the SoFi U-turn community. Of course, Tevis, he covers all tons of stocks, Tanner, all those guys. They don't just cover fintech, but they cover different stuff. Tanner did a good show. He's doing a good show with Steve. I don't know if they're still doing like whatever used to be called SoFi Weekly. I'm sure they are. I've been so busy, I can't watch much YouTube lately. Whenever I have time, I just try to make a video rather than watch videos. But anyway, love me some Canadian fintech mafia. Definitely some. When I do have time, they're some of my favorite folks to watch. Roy's great too. I mean, if you haven't subscribed to Roy's channel, Steve's channel, get over there. I know you're all Tevis and Tanner subscribers. Fundamentals of investing. Fun of investing? I don't know. You guys all have some thing that makes it sound like they basically wrote the textbook on investment. Which I'm sure they did up in Canada. It's a different book up there, eh, Hoser? I learned most of what I know about Canada from SCTV and the Mackenzie brothers, Rick Moranis and Dave Thomas. Anyway, guys, I don't really know what I'm talking about. It is just a little bit more, isn't it, guys? So SoFi is probably crashing back down. Yeah, 29.04. They're really working on it. Trying to hit 20. I don't know if they got back under. It doesn't look like they got under 20. I'm sure they did. 20.04. 20.04. So they haven't hit it yet, but they're battling. It'll probably go under, and then it'll probably move back up because, you see basically since this pump back in the morning, hasn't really wanted to go under 29. Sort of been mostly hanging around that, 29.10 to 29.20 area. I don't think there's any sellers of this stock under 29. I think the S&P 500 inclusion stuff is a little bit overhyped right now. I know I was watching the Canadian fintech mafia guys, and they were saying, 10% chance, 11% chance. I think Roy said 11% chance, as I recall. Tevis said 10% this time. So, that's kind of a long shot, but it's not 1%. 10% chance is definitely better than a snowball's chance in hell. But where does the stock close the day? Where does the stock close the week? Honestly, I have no idea. Yesterday was a very strong day, and then they just totally, stepped on it toward the end of the day. But I think if the NASDAQ goes up, they're just stepping on SoFi. For some reason, SoFi was like one of the only red stocks in my entire portfolio yesterday. Almost everything was up. Stepping on Microsoft. There's this whole thing with Microsoft. The AI adoption is slower than we expected. Well, possibly. But that's going to hit across the board. It's not just going to be Microsoft. Copilot's really good. I know Gemini's really good too. Gemini's amazing. It's supposed to be their new Gemini 3 model. It's supposed to just be a real revolutionary deal. So I don't really know how fuck to use AI. I can barely use my coffee maker. Fuck, people like, take this 30-day course to learn AI. Day 1, you'll have a bigger penis. Day 5, your wife will compliment you. Day 10, you'll be wealthy. Day 15, you'll be on vacation in one of those huts above the ocean where the Kardashians go. By day 30, you're going to run a giant tech company. Yeah, no, I'm not. No, I'm not, fuckface. Not going to do any of that. If I was over 40, this is how I'd get started using AI. Well, you're a fucking tech genius. Fuck you. I know how I'm going to get started over 40 using AI. I'm going to fucking flip you off, storm out, and eat a chicken quesadilla while I watch good old traditional TV, football on the TV. You got fucking AI making a bot trading for you, basically printing money. I'm over here trying to play pocket pool or tiddlywinks. You're over here splitting the fucking atom. Fuck you and your AI. Fucking hate you guys. I hate all of you. I was watching Best of Us Investing. That guy hates SMCI. And I don't blame him. There's a lot of question marks around the stock. I think he goes a little extreme with it, but he was talking about, he built this like AI agent that analyzes stocks and how he analyzes stocks and Fucking brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. That guy, I thought, like I said, I thought he's a little harsh on the SMCI financing deal, but I've been watching that guy's channel for a long time. He's really smart. I forget what's his name. Kerry, I believe. I might be wrong. I'm terrible with names, but I'm pretty sure his name is Kerry. I remember it was a man named Kerry. I always like guys named Kerry. I think it's like, it's one of those names that's usually female, but it crosses over. I like it for a guy. I don't know. I think it's a good guy's name. I don't know why. I don't know. Who gives a fuck what I think? Who gives a fuck what I think about different names? You know, nobody. Pause my home improvement reruns for this show. You're not watching TV, Chris. You're fucking doing crunches. Doing crunches and posing in your mirror while you hit a, dry jerk with some creatine or something. We know what you're up to. Rubbing one out to a Men's Health. Not saying you're gay or anything. Not there's anything wrong with that. Those Men's Health things are so gay. Like, what do you need, like, to master the form and weightlifting? Why do I need a guy who's just giant quads and a huge schlong and a pair of skin-tight, ultra-thin spandex with vertical stripes and like a lavender and a pink? And in this episode, how to get defined pecs. And then the cover is just two big schlongs, lovingly encased in striped spandex. It looks like it belongs on a circus tent somewhere. I think buying a copy of Men's Health was my first gay experience, perhaps. Anyway, I don't know. Let's see, guys. Scott's liking it. I like anytime Scott gives me the big laughing emojis, I think I'm doing a good job. Thanks, Scott. I only work out 2 to 3 hours a day. There you go, man. You work from bed, huh? You're just getting you're just getting recovery sleep. Yeah, he's recovering. Don't bother him. Got his sleep mask on. He's recovering. Working his pecs. I mostly just work the buttocks by sitting on a chair. Oh, I'm so out of shape. It's not funny. I am drinking wheat green tea. Wheat green tea. Really good one. I like one of these designer green teas with a bunch of twigs and berries and shit in there. Costs like $2 a tea bag, but fuck, it's good. Use it like 5 times anyway, so. Don't want you to think I'm all bougie. I reuse the tea bags, you know what I mean? IT, there you go. Working from home, working from bed, using the brain power, not the brawn power. I thought with pecs like that, you'd be out digging ditches or something. Oiling yourself up, hard hat, like maybe a Zoolander coal mine situation. Had it all mapped out. Chris and the Fat Man. Do that. Jake and the Fat Man rerun. Me and you solving crime, working out, getting in shape. You with your pecs, me with my man boobs. Oh, macaroni and cheese. That was a joke from the Larry Sanders Show. He's Italian. She's from Wisconsin. Together they make it work. Macaroni and cheese. I love the Larry Sanders Show. Gary Shandling, one of the funniest fucking comedians. Rest in peace, brother. He died young of cancer, I think. I can't remember what it was, but very, very talented man. I love Gary Shandling. Larry Sanders Show was just the funniest shit ever. It's about like a fictional late night show. It's during like the late night wars and stuff. It's a little before my time, but watch the reruns. They had so many, comedians on there that I love. Rip Torn is Artie. Jeffrey Tambor, who had some issues later on, but that Hank Kingsley character, just fucking brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Anyway, I guess we're talking about SOFI. Just like we said, bounce back up off that level again, moving. I don't know how they keep dumping these shares after that ER. All the things they have coming up, their roadmap, the fee-based income. Guys, I have got to run. I apologize. I forgot I have an appointment right now. But I will be back with you later on in the day. We'll see how SOFI close things out. Volume is moderate. up 16 cents on the day, but extreme volatility. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you joining me. It's Un Poco Mas. I got to run, got a meeting. Does that mean I have to go to the bathroom? Probably, because I'm old. My bladder don't work. But no, I really do have a meeting. Anyway, guys, Un Poco Mas, a little bit more. I want to thank everybody. Flint Creek Soap, watching Larry Sanders. Cool. That's a great show. Chris, thanks. Not a lurker, thanks. Everybody, thanks. Appreciate it. Peace.